start with Minanath, an EV-focused conglomerate IT leader from TATA AutoComp. Welcome. Next, I've got Siva, a data analytics consulting director from D3 Minds. Welcome, Siva. Thank you. Next, I've got Dr. Maruti, Automotive Systems CTO from Advik High-Tech. Please welcome with a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, Maruti. Thank you. Please welcome. Next, I've got, last but not the least, I've got Saket, a hardcore shop floor IoT practitioner and a Mondelez international leader. Put your hands together for Saket. Okay, so friends, we have got electrical, we have got automotive, we have got FMCG, we have got automotive brakes, right? I'm really happy. Thank you so much for bringing us all together here. Gentlemen, it's a request. We have got 45 minutes, close to 10 or 11 minutes each. If we go with a normal pace of speaking, we will say close to 1,000 words in a minute, in 9 minutes. That takes us close to 54,000 words in next 45 minutes. Surprise, we are talking about data, right? It's data, right? So, yeah, so let us be precise, let us be to the point, and let us ensure that we give them a insightful discussion which they can take away and implement. It's not about talking, it's about not about giving those theoretical answers, it is about practical, hardcore implemented things. And I'm sure that everyone, each one of this room will love the conversation and will take it forward. Okay? My first question, okay, it's a reality check that we are going to have. I'm going to invite Saket and I'm going to invite Minanath. Okay, why? Because there is enterprise visibility and then we have got machine level maturity over here, right? The first question is, what percentage of critical operational decisions are genuinely data driven today in your plant? And where do you all rely on human instinct?
Thank you. So I'd like to start by thanking for bringing out such an insightful question. Right. Before everyone was here, I'd like to let everyone know that similar set of questions have been raised, which were very provoking, right? Thought-provoking, basically, and really looking at what drives the adoption of solutions in the industry is not just based on technology that you have to offer, but a solution that is mature enough to make the existing processes efficient, right? And those innovations come from experiences, right? So I'm not here to say that experience is not enough or experience is the final solution, but a tech-enabled decision making and obviously the experience that we can never overpower just with the technology is going to have the higher hand always.
Okay, so what I hear here is maturity of technology versus experience. Minanath, your take on it.
Yeah, so if I look at the Indian manufacturing scenario since last so many years, the grey hair people still overpower the data. That is what I could say. The experience, the intuition, the time they spend in the shop floor, their connect with their machines, always overpowers the data. But slowly this scenario is getting changed. Since the systems are getting data enabled, data is visible, you can act on the data, you can get some insights on the data, the scenario is changing. So slowly we are going towards the intelligent and data-driven decision making in the manufacturing floor. However, we will need some more cultural change to go on to 100% data-based decision making.
Okay, so I see cultural change, we have got maturity. Now that's the reality check that we have. So here we see that behavioral shift is required. That's what I'm hearing. We have the dashboards, but the behavioral shift is required. That takes me to my next question. I invite again Minanath and Mr. Maruti. When digital initiatives fail in the plants, is the root cause the architecture or is it the behavioral resistance?
I will say I will not attribute it to either of these because it's a case specific, very much case specific. sometimes the automation or the data-driven decision-making system is perceived as a threat rather than the supporting system. So what people do is they try to resist. That is one thing which I have prominently observed. Second thing is data is used today as a compliance. I mean, auditor has asked for this much, I'll give this much. Now data is not used to derive the insights and take the decisions. That is missing today. That's why data-based decision systems, I will say both. I mean, architecturally also they are not mature, and culturally also we are not so mature to adopt them. Architecturally not mature because the business involvement in developing the systems is not so good. So if the business people really get involved and they drive the adoption or implementation, it will really give a lot of fruits. But if the IT fellows only drive it and implement it, they will implement their way and it will never succeed. So I will say both the attributes needs to be balanced in the right way.
Let me build on top of that.
Yeah.
So I'll take a simple example of audit thing that you mentioned, right? So if there's a product defect specifically, and you want to audit it the regular way, you have a pen and paper, you have your worker writing things down, you have your supervisor supervising it, and then it goes to your manager, right? But if a tech platform comes in, right, if it is asking you to do the exact same thing, the same way, just that you are, instead of pen and paper, you are doing it on a web app, mobile app or anywhere, that's not efficient enough, I would say. In that case, the whole point of digital transformation breaks down, right? And that's where the resistance from the shop floor comes in. What if you could just take a picture, right? Make life of the operator simple by using technology. In that case, definitely there will be more adoption.
But honestly, before Maruti comes, I wanted to bring in Siva over here. Siva gave a brilliant presentation right now, Tomax, that he showed, and the results were brilliant. We saw tier 1 Fortune 500 companies utilizing such a product. But we also have a practical point from Minanath right now that the architecture is not matured enough. Your take on that?
I'd like to also add some more topics on it, right? So whenever we are creating, it is not like we are selling technology. We need to ensure that the business points, burning platforms are getting addressed with the technology, rather than just, okay, I have this technology, go and use it. If we are going with this approach, then the problem is like the resistance would come. So whatever solutions that we are offering, that needs to solve the problems of the operators, supervisors, or whoever it is, right? In a better way. And we need to empower also the user, operators or user supervisors to use it. So that will drive actually the digital transformation rather than resisting. You need to take them on our side. Otherwise, anything that you are giving technology wonderful solutions, it might fail. That is my take on it.
Maruti?
Thank you. Manish sir, I'm married, so I'm good at listening. But I want to ask the question first to audience actually. Why we are in business actually?
To make profit.
Revenue generation, that's the one answer. To make profits, okay. Why we are in business again?
To solve some problems.
To solve some problems, okay. Anything else? Okay, to serve society and all, but according to me, we are in a business to make more money and then more and more money. As long as this objective is getting fulfilled, any initiative will be successful. If this objective is not getting fulfilled, no matter what we are going to get it, is not going to be successful actually. Whether it's data driven, whether it's emotion driven, whether it's gut feel, doesn't matter actually. Okay, so we need to connect any initiative, anything which we wanted to drive to this more and more thing actually. Anyway, you are making money. You are in business, you are making money, you are making profits. But unless and until that more get answered, all those things are going to be futile. Like it or not actually. I'm sorry, I wanted to be a little candid over here. Now talking about data, when we talk about the data, when we talk about data-driven decisions, which are those decisions actually? And which are the decisions require the data actually? Visions cannot be answered with the data. Only data can facilitate that vision thing actually. It cannot be answered the vision. It has to be have built in into the business leaders or the entrepreneur or the founder of the company, right? Now we are talking about transactional decisions actually. And those transactional decisions, as long as I am able to connect with my next dot, will be successful. If it is not, if I am failing to connect to that dot, it is going to fail. It's a simple, according to me. That's a simple equation over there.
Okay, see, I'm trying to tie all the points for you. I'm also part of audience right now. What we have heard is, Minanath said that, okay, there is, the architecture that we have in technology is not matured enough. Saket answered on it. Siva said that, he made a very interesting statement that tie the technology,
solution.
He said tie the technology with the business goals. Now Siva, that is tying, it's about taking the top floor. What Minanath is talking about the shop floor. So how do we take that particular part where we bring in trust in the architecture, the data, how do we bring trust into that data that is coming out of that technology that we are implementing?
See, we were talking about resistance and technology architecture, right?
Yeah.
So resistance is coming because they don't want to, they are used to do the way how they have worked for the years, right? And they don't want to adapt to, they are not ready to adapt to the new technologies, like for example, and it is a threat for them, like because probably tomorrow, okay, I am collecting all the data automatically, tomorrow my job might go, right? So we need to ensure that it is not going to happen. Technology is an enabler for you to make a better and drive a better decisions at all levels. It is not just only top floor, it is for all the people, this is how it needs to be. Architecture wise, it is very important to build a very scalable solution, considering all the business pain points which is we are going to solve to the operators. So before providing any solution, you need to wear the hat of the operator. You need to think about them before building any of the systems for them. So that is the most important thing, and build the underlying strong technology to make that a solution for the operators. And we need to really empower them. That is the important point, that we need to empower the operators. And then they will drive you all that continuous improvement mindset, and they will come up with a lot of ideas, and then they will drive you a better productivity.
See, thank you so much for the elaborated answer. My question to again, this is a brilliant way where this is going. To each one of you, if I give you perfect data tomorrow, will the adoption improve?
Okay. Let me ask the question again. What is perfect data? Perfect data is going to be facilitating my decision, going to help me to understand 360-degree view of anything which I am talking about, right? So let's talk about how we make the business and how we make the money actually. Okay, there are only 3 ways of making money. You like it or not. Okay, everything else is just emotions into it. One, how fast you are going to make your manufacturing. If you are in the manufacturing business, okay, how fast you are going to make the manufacturing. That's the speed of manufacturing. If I am going to increase the speed of manufacturing, my number of parts are going to increase. That is what going to sell, and it's going to get the money back to me, right? That's the way of making the business. Second thing is, how many varieties I can handle actually. Today, we are talking about customization per person actually. It is not about mass adoption. So if I am able to handle more varieties in my production, and if that data is going to help me to handle that varieties, I am going to get more money actually. It's a simple thing. And last and not the least actually is the how much volume I can handle. In spite of having that speed, in spite of having that varieties into my operations, am I handling that volume required? Volume is going to facilitate me to make the profit. Even though per part I am going to make smaller money, but if I am going to increase number of parts per that profit, I am going to get more money from that. Now, if the data which I am talking about is going to facilitate any of these things, it's going to be a true and something called perfect data. And I guarantee you, most of the people over here are decision makers. I don't see any resistance into it actually. Anything is not going to facilitate this, you will have to answer. You will have to substantiate. You have to give the justification for that. And as long as I'm talking about perfect data, I have to answer one of these actually.
Saket,
Yes.
since you are closely related to the shop floor, you are the one who ties the top floor with the shop floor through the IoT systems that you place across Mondelez plants. What's your take on this? Whether if we give the perfect data, will the adoption improve?
So again, as Mr. Maruti said rightfully, perfect data can be interpreted in multiple ways, right? Perfect dashboard with a KPIs, lot of KPIs, let's say, for specifically curated for your industry, won't make sense if your lead times aren't shrinking, if your disruptions aren't absorbed faster. So if those things are being done, whatever the dashboard says, we don't really care about it. If your lead, there is some type of visible and actionable insight from that data, which can lead to either speedy manufacturing, reduced wastage, right, or even improved processes or efficient processes. It's definitely helpful data that we can act upon.
I'll take over to Minanath.
Yeah, so
we are getting
question-
we are getting a positive answer over here. That
Great.
it's
So
not
I also
it's
have
not
a positive answer.
It's not a threat anymore. It's just that we need to.
No, I am not pessimist. I am optimist.
Go ahead.
So
We're just trying to spice it.
So your question was, if you give a perfect data, will it work?
Will the adoption improve?
Will adoption. So if you give a perfect data, it will work, but there will be a catalyst required for that. And that catalyst is the top-driven approach. Suppose the highest authority in the shop floor demands PowerPoint presentation or Excel file, then it will not. If he tells that, show me the real-time dashboard which is coming out of the data generated out of the shop floor, then it will definitely work. The cultural build of Indian manufacturing system is like that. Unless it is driven from the top, unless it is asked from the top, it will not get adopted.
You know, 30 seconds.
No, to certain extent I agree with him. It needs to be the top down for sure. But at the same time, I feel that we need to also, whenever we are giving a solution, we need to empower the operators, which will be useful for them. But I agree with him, it needs to be like top down as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, so this is another thing actually. I work for bearing companies actually, and you know that bearing is having a lot of capital intensive operations actually. Okay, but at the end of the day, we need to answer that what is the cost of that bearing actually. So maybe project can agree with me that कितने का पड़ता है at the end of the day. Okay, if anything which you talk about, your data, your facilitation, your automation, everything, if it is giving at the end of the day, we answer that, you know, yesterday it was 100 rupees and now it is 99 rupees, is the data for me actually. It is summarizing everything what I am doing in the operation shop floor everywhere actually. And if that data dashboard what we are talking about, it answer only one question, कितने का पड़ता है? In the Indian context, कितना देती है, right? So in the context, कितने का पड़ता है बोलेगा, things are over for us actually. That much of data we need to have it, and that is the perfect data for me. Everything else is ornamental. Everything else is just to meet customers or industry leaders thought thing actually.
Yeah. So what revenue drives is the ability to deploy better solutions definitely, and that comes from top down. But when you are thinking about solution, as Siva said, right, you have to think about the operators, the actual shop floor. What I think that there needs to be a balanced growth from both ends, right? While you are making operators' life easy or making the process efficient, you have to think about how much, right? How much you are going to invest and how much you are going to get back. The ROI on that. And that ROI cannot be the same for all the companies that are sitting here, right? An automobile company, a chocolate manufacturer, a brake manufacturer, or a bearing manufacturer cannot have the same yardsticks even if they deploy the exact same solution.
Okay. I'm going to bring in the audience now. We spent a lot of time in this. So audience, we started with critical decisions on shop floor. Then we went ahead by asking if a particular technology implementation phase, what happens. So I'm going to move to the third question now, and I'm going to bring in the consulting optimism over here and the ground execution reality. Okay, are our Indian plants chasing AI and advanced analytics prematurely? before fixing the data discipline and process standardization. I'll repeat to you again. Are Indian plants chasing AI and advanced analytics prematurely before fixing the data discipline?
If you ask me, I totally 100% agree with this because it is important that the fundamentals, the foundation block needs to be addressed first. Only then you will be able to do all advanced analytics, AI on top of it. If you don't have a good data, you don't have the results. So the fundamental foundation block is to first, you need to digitize all your thing because AI is not magic. It is just going to give you the insights autonomously from the data that what you are going to have. So we need to ensure that we are fixing this foundational block and then move towards the AI and other solutions. So first adoption should be to the foundational one before moving into any of the AI solutions. But it depends also, like for example, SMEs, enterprise and all those things, right? So you need to think before doing it where you are in the digital maturity because that makes a big difference. So if you are already having a good quality data, then a manufacturer can directly go to AI. If your data is not so good and still you are collecting manually and some data is in disparate IT systems, then you need to fix by solving the data problem, data layer first, and then you need to go on to the AI solutions.
Sure. So I want to just refer to our earlier discussion earlier this week, where you specifically mentioned that MSMEs are lagging behind in adoption of AI, right? So, and rightfully so. The reason, as you have mentioned, is availability of disciplined data, right? So, disciplined data is not just about having a structured data into MySQLs, Excels, and spreadsheets. It's not just about dashboards or your specific KPIs. It's about a non-negotiable, non-human interpreted way of having that data. That means you have to contextualize it enough so that even if AI model comes in, there is no human negotiation towards getting to a final answer, right? If it's a zero, it's zero. If it's one, it's one. So based on that, I would say, again, the reason why larger enterprises are ahead in AI adoption is because of this kind of data discipline, contextualization of data, and the platforms that they have available, and obviously the money that they are putting in.
So that's a headline statement for each one of us that, and from this panel, that we need to get our foundation correct. Unless and until the data foundation is correct, we won't be able to implement the initiatives or the mature technologies which are there today. As far as in terms of AI and all what we, the products that we saw from ServiceNow and all. First, we need to fix the foundation, that is data. Or the order say.
I think I have an analogy for that actually. See, we are talking about MSME or small scale organizations. AI is like an Ivy League intern, actually, who can do a lot of analysis, who can give a lot of insights to you, but finally decision need to be made by someone. And I can have a number of dashboards, a number of graphs, a number of analytical models to me actually. But finally, in this organization, decisions need to be made by the person actually. Irrespective of what, sometimes the decisions will be contextual. Decisions will be based on what I need to do now versus what is right for me actually. Many a times this happens. Many a times, even though my dashboard's telling me that this could be detrimental for you, say 2 months ahead of time, but I still have to take that decision because I know that what is the impact of my today's decision actually. I cannot postpone that decision to next week actually. And that is why this Ivy League intern, not everybody can afford. What we can afford is that, okay, yes, I understand that my decision could be right now wrong, but I'm still ready to pay that price because I want to take that decision in the favor of that moment actually. And that cannot be given by today, at least with the binary data and binary models. That has to be taken by the person who is going to take that decision.
Smarty, I've got a follow-up question to that. Since we're talking about AI, has AI become a competitive requirement or is it a boardroom pressure?
In my, I'm a, okay, I'm a CTO, so I have to talk about technology very positively. But I do have my two views actually. One is very, very positive, optimistic view that I am having thousands of people giving me guidance to take my decision. That is what AI to me actually. But other side is to me is that it's too much of noise to me actually to take the decision. Many a times I know that the decision can be very simple, but if I go to any large language model, I get a number of options actually. Do you need so many options actually? You started with the chocolate thing, and you talked about microns and finish and fish and all. Do each chocolate need that? Probably if premium chocolate is there, I wanted to see that premium feel into it, but I don't want to have that kiss me, having that micron feel and all actually. So sometimes having too many options is also not good. Okay, so from the perspective of decision actually, many a times most of us have given objective type answers, right, in competitive exams. Many a times we don't know the answer, but we know what is not the answer actually. That much of options are good enough for me to take the decision. I am talking today. Tomorrow this may change. Tomorrow as we go mature, as I started learning more about my own operation, I may be having better way of taking the decision. But as it stands today, I see it's more of a noise than facilitation to me.
I have one more input for your listening. See, today the decisions are taken on what I know and what I don't know. Correct? AI will enable you to take the decision adding what I don't know what I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, something beyond your circle of knowledge, you will get to know using the AI. And I firmly believe that AI will become a competitive advantage going forward. Even though you are not in the field related to AI, any field, manufacturing, pharma, anything, this will definitely become a competitive advantage if you adopt it at the right time, in the right way.
And in the right spirit.
In the right spirit.
In the right spirit, yeah.
Perfect. That's a perfect segue to my next question. We're talking about AI, we're talking about technology implementation. None of this will come into the picture if it does not get funded, right? So, I have this question to Minanath and Maruti both. How do you convince your CFO or your board that this is the amount of money that is required, effort that is required to implement this technology? How do you get that done?
So, I mean, most of us are manufacturing leaders. There is a terminology called as a business case. So, business case includes everything. I mean, what you are going to spend, what you are going to get. So, there is a model which gives the business value of any initiative. That model is derived based on what kind of changes going to have on the operations, processes, what benefits it will bring in terms of, say, 1 year, 3 year and 5 year horizon. And if the benefits are positives, then only I think it is seen, the project is seen in the positive spirit. Otherwise, it is not done. So there is a methodology of adopting all these things. And any technical initiative, usually your manufacturing head or you can say CEO, CXO level people, they may not have hang of the technology. You have to make them understand. So you have to drill it down into the language which is understandable by them. You have to connect every technology initiative to the business imperative and then present it to them. If you just throw them the technology jargon, they will simply throw it away. So, simplest way to get the approval for any technical initiative for the manufacturing is to connect it to the business imperative and show them the business value of it. That is the best way to go ahead for the technology adoption.
Right. So what I hear is that you are going to tie your business goals with the technology that you want to implement. Okay. Or the what of you?
Yeah, to complement what Minanath said, there is something called FOMO, fear of missing out. We have to use it with a pause. In addition to giving all those business cases and all, because there is hunger to have more and more. Right? I started with more and more, and that's very important thing. All these technologies are having advantage, no doubt about it. Only thing is that where we are missing out, that need to be come out very clearly when we are talking about technology investments. technology investments are not going to come easily because I cannot show that 100 to 99 or 100 to 98. Where we started, kitne ka padta hai. So there I have to use that fear of missing out. I have to use my customers. I have to use the technology trends. I have to use some cases which are beyond my control actually. For example, aerospace, many times we give the example in automotive. But how much relevance is there actually in the aerospace? But we have to use those examples because there is definitely a fear of missing out. And that fear of missing out create the sensation, create that alertness in the management's mind. And sometimes our business case get complemented with that actually in order to get our goal. Plain, only if I want to say that I want to utilize say to max into my operations. Probably you may not even see so many questions which we have to answer actually. Your data sheet will not ask so many questions that many questions we have to give it to our management and get the answers or we have to answer those. So that FOMO part is important. Second part is important is, am I taking a long-term view or short-term view actually? Both views are important actually, not only business case. I should have to be able to tell that this is the machine I had the problem actually because of this thing. And if my data is complementing that, I will have a bit easy like to get funding.
So audience, what do we get from this? We see that technology लगाने के लिए जो पैसा चाहिए, Minanath is saying business goal के साथ tie करो, पैसा मिल जाएगा. He is saying use FOMO, डराओ, डर से पैसा मिल जाएगा. Now what I see Minanath and Maruti again, what I see is, let me drill this down. The answers that you gave, these are more taking care of the operational value, the shop floor value. As I said in the boardroom, we need to take care of the shareholder value also. How do you balance that? How do you get the shareholder value? How do you show that the shareholder value is also taken care of while implementing this technology? How do you showcase that to your board?
So, shareholder value actually comes from what value you create in the business. Okay, if you are doing a run-of-mill kind of thing, like just printing something and selling it, it doesn't carry any value. It will have a thin margin. But if you have technology-intensive business, which is enabled by the digital technology, then it will create a lot of value to it. So what you have to do exactly is, what are the expectations of both? I mean, if you are doing a certain business which is not IT business but manufacturing business, how do you enable it by tech? How is your demand management, inventory management, production management is revolutionized using the technology? How the tech is embedded in your product? Those are the things which will fascinate the board and ultimately the stakeholders. Now, if you are doing the same thing which any other fellow is doing, you are considered as a non-profitable. But if you are doing something more than that, now he talked about FOMO. I will talk about early adoption. So if I am adopting something early and showcasing it to the market and becoming a differentiator, that is my business value. So as a technologist, we have to find out that one delta which will make sense and put it in front of the board.
It's interesting.
So in manufacturing industry, at the end of the day, my machines should produce the parts. That's my cake. Everything else is icing on the cake actually. So my board, the first question to my board or my management is that, am I making the cake right? And then how I'm going to icing on top of it. So all those things what we are talking about is more of icing in order to make the cake better. But if I'm missing fundamental that my cake is not right, if I'm not able to produce the parts to the required speed, quantity and the cost, everything else is not going to answer my questions. So whether I'm answering to board or I'm answering to my operation management actually. So we need to look at actually what is that I'm trying to achieve with the technology. Am I putting my cake into the right hand, or am I adding the icing on it actually and showing to management or to stakeholders that I'm having this also. So a very important part of it is that why you are doing that objective actually and how it is going to help, again going back to making money actually. That is the bottom line actually, irrespective of what I'm doing actually. If I put the tomahawks into it, I need to understand that what service I'm going to give it to customer or what is that I'm going to get in return actually. You will show the business case everything actually, but finally to me, to my customer and to my stakeholder, kitne ka padta hai. That is the most important thing. Everything else is, costum. Believe it or not, actually, it is a direct or indirect. It is going to be costum. I have to fund it from my profit.
See, again I take away. I am also part of your audience. I can visualize 4 slides right now that we can showcase to the management. The first slide is what Minanath said. Technology लगा दी है, business goal दिखाओ, इतना पैसा चाहिए नीचे. The second slide should be as Maruti said, डराओ, FOMO. The third slide, as Minanath said, is about showing अगर हम आज जल्दी करते हैं, तो we will be the market leaders, so that will take care of shareholder value. And fourth one, as you said, show the cake, show that this is the amount of money that we are going to make from this particular thing. So this will take care of the shareholder value as well as the shop floor value. So that's the takeaway for us.
Just one correction to second slide. It's not darao, it's make them aware that what they are missing. Okay. Darao mat. डराओगे तो कुछ नहीं होगा.
Use the word fear.
आपको देख के लगता नहीं कि आप डरा सकते हैं.
Perfect. See, I've got 2 minutes left. We can take 30 seconds each. We were talking about tech adoption. See, any technology to implement, there are 3 stages. Technology selection, technology implementation, and technology adoption. In all these 3 stages, which one is the toughest? 30-second answer for each one, starting with Saket.
I would say vision.
Technology?
Vision, actually.
Vision,
Yeah.
okay.
So when we are talking about shareholder value or anything else, at this point, right, even if there are CTOs, CFOs, whoever is sitting here, we are all humans, we err, right? To error is human, basically, and there will always be inefficiencies that we'll carry. Right now, what we are building towards, no matter what your organization's maturity level is, data stability is, we are building towards an AI-assisted decision system right now, right? What I think is we need to envision a human-assisted AI decision maker for us. That will be the most accurate, most honest utilization of the technologies that we have right now.
According to me, it's more about awareness actually. Awareness of constructive things and noise actually. If I understand that whether I am taking the data-driven decision or something, it is a constructive data is how much weight of that and how much is the noise actually, just because some consultants are talking about, some media is talking about, or somebody came and just told me, this is what is helping. So that noise separation with constructive things, it's going to help a lot. And people like you is having more responsibility to remove that noise from the system. We are hardcore shop floor people, sir. We only know how to clean the oil. We do not understand which is noise and which is not actually. So if you are play that role, catalyst role of removing that noise and creating constructive case, everything can be adopted.
Okay. Shiva?
Technology is just always an enabler.
Right.
We need to think like it is not going to do any of the magic. It's just an adoption. Technology adoption, we need to ensure that we are adapting to the right technology, right solutions to get a better results out of it. And that is the most important thing that I feel.
In short, I will tell technology solutions needs to be curated. I have a solution, please try to fit your problem into my solution, will not work. I have a problem, please solve my problem technologically. That approach should work. I mean, Shiva comes from grassroots. Whatever he has designed, I have seen, I know him from many years. This system comes from the actual experience. He has worked in the shop floor and then he designed it. You just see all the aspects afterward, but if you take best of breed MES or any other solution, you won't find that much detailing than what Shiva has done. So what I suggest is you understand the problem of the industry and solve it technologically.
See, I'm going to ask this question again. Manish, please give me 5 more minutes. The team that is sitting in front of us, they want, as I said at the start of the panel talk, that we want real practical answer rather than textbook jargons. So I'm going to ask again, starting with Saket. What is the most toughest part? Technology selection, technology adoption, technology selection, technology implementation, or technology adoption?
I come from tech background. I have implemented, so I wouldn't say adoption or implementation, but tech selection, right tech selection for the right job would be my take.
So selection is one. Okay. What about you, Maruti?
I'm still on the same thing actually. Adoption or selection is depend upon awareness. And awareness is again has to be quantified. That this is what you can see. Everything else is we can educate. What if I'm not convinced that it's going to really take my 100 to 99 or it's going to take it to 110? What should I do with that?
But still, what? Adoption, implementation, or implementation?
I think all three are subset of each other. Actually, if I selected, I will implement. If I implemented, I have to adopt. I have no other option. So, yeah.
Sivasaravanan, you do a lot of consulting. Okay, you pre-project, between project, after the project. What do you see clients as a big problem? Technology selection, implementation, or adoption?
I would say all three. Because during a selection, you need to ensure that you are selecting the right technology and are they solving your burning platforms, top issues that what you have. And implementation, again, it is a bigger role. Change management plays a key role. It is not just only the adoption, it is just more of a change management which needs to be driven. And these are the key things in my opinion.
For me, the stakeholder count keeps on increasing from selection, implementation, adoption. The larger stakeholder count is in the implementation, and that is the toughest part. Because so many cooks spoil the food.
Perfect. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Audience, we have summarized all the things that were there, which are there. If you have any questions, we can take it now, or else you can give it, send an email. Doing the networking out, you can do that. But please do ask questions. These are leaders who have actually gone through the grind of selection, adoption, implementation. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.